We're lagging. All right. Are we live? It says we're live. It says we're live. Hello there. Hi. Jason with Green Country Agriforestry here. I'm down here in the lower, what is that? The lower right-hand corner of the screen, if y'all can see me. I don't know if you can see me or not. Do you guys see me there? Get some feedback from people in the live stream because I do not know what you guys are seeing. Okay, I'm looking at the live stream over here, and it's looking good. Okay, there we go. Well, hello everybody. Let me go ahead and go to full screen for just a second here. Hi everybody, Jason here, Green Country Agroforestry, back again on Wednesday night for one of these live stream sort of thingies. As you can tell, I've got a little different screen set up here. This picture that we're looking at here, yeah, tiny little Jason. This picture that we've got here is a recording of the backyard in the middle of the corn patch. We got about an hour's worth of footage of it. I figure we'll just kind of throw up there while we're doing the live stream, and I'll just keep myself down here in the corner. And you can watch what goes on in the foreground and sometimes in the background too. I'm not quite sure how many birds we had come in and visit in the corn patch, but it really is amazing that we have grasshoppers emerging all around us, but inside the corn patch, well, where are we pointing? There. I can't. Let me use this finger. Inside the corn patch, we tried to point. There's my finger. Okay, so off over this direction. Yeah, there's that corn cob that does not have its silks getting demolished by the grasshoppers because they have not had the opportunity to do a whole lot of predation inside the corn patch, owing, of course, to interplanting the sunflowers. So, particularly, I want you to watch the sunflower. Well, all throughout the duration, you're going to see birds moving around and visiting various places in here. But you're going to be able to see a house finch up close and personal here pretty soon, visiting that sunflower in the foreground. So, fun times. Let me get this thing rolling. So we'll get that going. You should be able to see, yeah, you can see the leaves moving around in the background and stuff like that. There we go. And yeah, you start seeing the birds appearing over there, visiting everything. They come to check out the sunflowers. They perch on the sunflowers, and then where he says add lag. Okay, yay. Okay, good. So there, and you can just see them moving around. There's that house finch there. That is a male house finch that's visiting, little red blush of feathers on him, and he's just there visiting that sunflower, and he's going to get a couple sunflower seeds. He might take some home to put into his nest to feed the family. And he might hang around and eat a couple of grasshoppers while he's there. Maybe go after some of those. I'm finishing brewing my tea over here, by the way. I ran a little bit short on time. I didn't get the opportunity to finish. He may take some back to the nest. All kinds of birds just showing up there, huh? They're all over the place. I did not successfully count. And I think that finch is still there. Yeah, he's still there. He hasn't gone anywhere. We just have other birds moving around in the background. So I've been watching these birds and realizing, wow, a lot of the work that we think that we have to do in farming, agriculture, growing food and stuff like that. A lot of the work is actually going to be done by these little animals, right? The birds of the air, the beasts of the field. I don't really like the fact that I've got snakes in the corn patch, but I can't have cats running around outside right now because of neighbor reasons. I'm not going to be too overly worried about that though, because the snakes will take care of the rats for me, and they're bull snakes. They're not poisonous, at least the one that I saw. A little bit cantankerous, right? But he's a constrictor, and he wants to go after rats and stuff like that. He probably won't eat too many of the duck eggs. So we've got a natural solution on the way, taking care of the rodent problems, and that's good. Now, if you'll pardon me, I'm going to add. This is some stuff that Mary got. It's this instant green tea with matcha. Hello, Hugo Humstead. We're going to add this in there. The tea that I'm brewing is a rubber tree extract, which is good for your well-being if you're an older gentleman and would like to put a little spring in your step. They say it's good for the joints too. Of course, matcha green tea is full of antioxidants, also good for you, good for stimulating metabolism, or so they say. So they say. I don't know. I'm just a guy that likes to hang out in the garden a lot. I don't know anything, right? I just occasionally put the camera on and let nature do the teaching. What kind of bird is that in the foreground there? What do you think? Is that a, well, shoot, that was a something, but now it's a house finch. We're gonna see some wrens showing up in the background. There may be some indigo buntings, which are a solid blue, dark blue bird. Finch, the goldfinches, of course, are around. That one in the foreground over there. Sorry, over there. That's a male house finch. And I'm not sure what's in the background behind those leaves in the back there. Something's over there moving around. I never quite do see it. Maybe somebody else will catch it. Keep your eyes open in the replay, so you can identify the species as they come in. Whoever picks not one single bird is going to show up. I'll bet you're giggling over that one now. Brian, was that you? Hey, we're so glad you decided to join us. Blade Runner quote. Philip K. Dick wrote that story. Do androids dream of electronic sheep? Excellent author, by the way. Absolutely loved pretty much all of his stuff. All right. I'm going to add a little bit of honey to my teapot here as I stir. There's probably more than enough honey. Vicky says, yesterday discovered that there's a bird's nest above my door. I think the young have already fledged. Yeah. It's about the time for them to get out and start feeding themselves, learning how to fly. The adults have been running around feeding insects to the young for a little while now. Of course, this is the other reason why you want to have this sort of setup with the sunflowers in the middle of your garden. And it doesn't have to be just corn either. It can be just about anything. As long as you're giving a place for your allies, the birds, to come in and perch, they can do their work. And of course, they're getting fed. We're paying them off in sunflowers. And I'm going to be harvesting these before too awfully long, because I've got to go out there and harvest the corn. It's about time. I would have harvested probably starting today, but we had a wonderful thunderstorm this morning. It was beautiful. I was very, very happy, and I said, well, we'll just go ahead and put off going and doing the harvest for another day. Let things grow, set, dry, and then we'll get back to it. I'd like to thank everybody for dropping in today, seeing as we got a house that's filled up, and I got my tea brewed, and we're ready to get started. Well, maybe as soon as I can figure out where I'm going to put this mouse, I think we'll put it over here. That'd probably be a good idea. I'll put the tea over here. I don't think the cats are out here with us today. Aw. Well, thank you very, very much. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. I like Rufus's take on it. Yeah. House finch perhaps been perching up by the front porch and flying to the door. House finches and wrens really are around your house almost all the time, and they're lots of fun. Oh, by the way, hi Ken, hi Brian, and hello everybody. All right, we're gonna start out by I'm gonna just really quick grab a link here. Now this is, hang on a second. Let me go to here. Here we go. Let me grab this real quick. I'm going to be sharing a Facebook link on screen here for one of my friends. Her name is Maggie Stevens. Get that thing here. I'm going to post the link here. Now, I'm going to put the first link out. This is her Facebook page. That's for her. The next page I'm going to put out is her church group, which is my friend Randy's church group. He's the one he's now the elected to be pastor of in Greenfield, Missouri. I'm going to put this out as well. Brand new pastor. If you sign up with the church group, if that goes through, that link goes, there we go. If you sign up with the church group, you can catch the You can catch the sermons on Sunday whenever he does them. I think this is like maybe his third or fourth sermon, and he did not expect him ever to become a preacher. Never thought in a million years he'd become a preacher, but he and Maggie were involved in aiding the homeless ministry. And actually, that's mainly the thing that I wanted to share these links with you about. Let me read to you real quick what they put up here not too awfully long ago. This was back on when was this? June the 14th. And the neighbors are passing by on the little all-terrain vehicles. That's so lovely. They're noisy, aren't they? Well then, all right. So, allow me to read. This is from June 14th from the God's Grace Cumberland Church site. I'm going to share this with you guys. Our community council, more so the community, has been giving us grief for a few months for helping the homeless people. We're talking about the city or township of Greenville. More, I guess, more so the people of the town of Greenville have been giving us grief for a few months for helping the homeless people. They claim we are enabling, and if we would stop helping them, they would get homes or go away. There's been a lot of things said on Facebook about it. What's funny is that online attention is pointing people to us for help, and more people are finding out they can come here for food, clothes, shelter, showers, a cooling station. He works all things together for good. No such thing as bad publicity. Our homeless ministry is booming. See, that was what they were doing originally, and they were traveling along with a church group spreading chaos, which I believe stands for Christ honored and others served. CHAOS. As an alternative to the chaos of the world today, they're spreading the good kind of chaos, right? And they were doing traveling ministry for a while, and occasionally their traveling would bring them into Tulsa, and we got to visit and hang out with them, and it was loads of fun hanging out with Randy. I've known him for ages, and of course Maggie I knew as well previously. Did I know Maggie? No, I don't know if I did. I knew her ex-husband, which is interesting. Keep on running into the same people over and over again. It's a small world. Anyway, so they're in Greenfield, Missouri, doing homeless ministry. But Brandy has also recently been elected to become the pastor of that church that I just shared the link for, God's Grace Cumberland Church. So if you'd like to hear what kind of message he's putting out from the pulpit, if you can't manage to make it to church on your own on Sundays, he's worth a listen. I've heard lots of preachers that are horrible. He's not horrible. So there you go. That's a recommendation for a church group. Should you have need of one or desire one, there we go. T said, "I thought you were outside of Tulsa. It must not be." I am in. I am on the west side of Tulsa. Just maybe 5 or 6 miles away from downtown over yonder. Not too far. It's just right there on the edge of town. This is the very last street right in front of me is the last street of Tulsa, and it's Tulsa County over here. Generally, I think if the police show up here, it's because they're lost and they need directions. We do occasionally have sheriff's deputies that come in and use the church parking lot over there to turn around them because sit and do paperwork because it's quiet. Nobody bugs them. You know how that goes. Vicky said, looking for some rain this morning, but it skirted us. Yeah, it hit us pretty hard for a little while. I was impressed. We got a few. We got a few inches. We sure needed them. Hi, cowboy. Hello, baby girl 1982. Baby girl 1982. Does that mean you were a baby girl in 1982? I do the math. 92, 2002, 2022. Can you keep that same name after you're in your 30s? Or is that just the number that you got? I'm just teasing. Okay. So Today we're going to talk about seeking the blessings, looking around and finding the blessings around you. We get to see this a lot in the garden, actually. And of course, I grow a different kind of garden than a lot of people. Most of my garden is trees, perennials, flowers, um, occasionally the odd vegetable, right? Um, T says, nice, haven't been there in a while. It's where you grew up. It still has the small town feel to it, which is nice. And of course, since we're over here on the west side, more close to Sand Springs, Sand Springs actually is a small town, so it really has a small town feel. Um, Tulsa police, if you're broken down on the side of the road, they won't help you. They're a little bit too busy for that. Sand Springs police, on the other hand, will hop out and give you a push and a ride to where you're going. So we still have that kind of character about us. Katie says we had teeth rattling, lightning and thunder, crashing skies, lots of wet, and two now corrected power outages. Oh, fun! You've had fun. So I guess we're kind of dovetailing a little bit with last week, talking about dealing with the locusts. Of course, over there in Greenfield, we've got a church group that actually does understand the homeless problem isn't just going to go away or go somewhere else. There's people in need, and either they're going to get what they need from people providing charity and assistance and helping them, with the ability of finding gainful employment, if there's a possibility of finding gainful employment, getting what they need to get in that position. Of course, people arrive with nothing. They don't have documentation. They don't, you still have to pay for IDs. You still have to have clothes. You still have to be dressed appropriately and smell nice when you show up for job interviews. You have to have a place to stay that's secure while you are in the process of gaining employment and getting advanced. And of course, a lot of these people are probably overwhelming and more than the region can handle as far as gainful employment goes either. So eventually, many people are going to need to be either be relocated, or jobs will have to be created for them. And that's an interesting. T says over there near Charles Page Boulevard, best Lauderberg location. It is still there, incidentally. It's just a little bit down the road here, over there by in between us and Gilcrease. Us and Gilcrease Museum Road. It is still there. Anyway, so something's going to have to be done with the displaced people that are showing up, and it's not just the people that cross the border without documentation. It's also the regular people that have been displaced over the past few years, as it's become harder and harder to make ends meet. It hasn't been great for everyone. And so we have a lot of that. And what do these people do that are in these positions? Well, either we help them or they help themselves. And if they help themselves, then we have crime. If we have crime, we have to deal with crime, and that means violence. And I don't think we really want the violence. So causes like this, and I'm just putting these guys out because they're friends of mine, and I've known them for a long time, and I know that they're not going to waste whatever is sent their way. Whatever is sent their way. I'm going to share somebody else's links with you in a minute too, because he's also working on in a similar aspect, the actual ministry to the people who need it, because we're going to have a lot of people in need. And of course, does that lead to salvation, souls saved, and stuff like that? I think so. Yeah, probably. Does it lead to overall liberation? Yeah, I think so. Probably. It all depends upon how we look at this challenge and this test that's facing us. It's either blessings in disguise or curses. But I think really we should be looking for blessings in disguise. I'm going to give you a couple examples of blessings in disguise here. First one comes from a Chinese folk story. I'm just going to recite it here. A long, long time ago, there was a kind old man who lived on the plains outside the Great Wall of China. The gentle old man had only two passions in his life: collecting rare breeds of horses, and his son, whom he loved more than anything else. The old man and his son would ride their horses every day. They would travel great distances to trade horses, meet new people, and enjoy the good fortune that life had bestowed upon them. One morning, a servant left the stable door open, and one of the old man's favorite stallions escaped. Wild stallions, hey, be excellent to each other. When the neighbors heard the news of the stallion's escape, they came to comfort the old man. They told him they were sorry they had had such bad luck. But strangely enough, the gentle old man was not upset. He explained to his neighbors that losing the horse wasn't necessarily bad luck. There was no way to predict that the horse would escape. It just happened, and now there was nothing that could be done about it. There's no reason to be upset, said the old man. The neighbors soon realized that there was nothing they could do to help get the horse back, and they shouldn't feel sad for the old man's misfortune. 1 week later, the stallion came back, and he brought with him a mare. This was not just any mare, but a rare and valuable white mare. When the neighbors heard of the old man's good luck, they quickly came to congratulate him, but again, the old man was not excited. As he had explained to them before, it was not necessarily good luck that had brought him this new and beautiful white horse. It just happened, and there was no reason to get excited over it. Still a bit puzzled, the neighbors left as quickly as they had come. A short time later, while his son was riding the white horse, she slipped and fell. And remember, she is the mare. It's the white horse is the mare. She, the mare, landed on the son's leg and broke the leg, so he would always have to walk with a limp. Again, the neighbors came to the old man's house. This sounds an awful lot like the story of Job, doesn't it? Yeah. And again, the neighbors came to the old man's house to give their sympathy for the bad luck that had befallen him. One of the neighbors suggested that the old man sell the mare before any more bad luck could happen. And another one said he should take his revenge and kill the mare. However, the old man did neither. He explained to the neighbors that they should not feel sorrow for his son nor anger towards the mare. It was purely an accident that could not be predicted, and there was nothing he or they could do to change it. At this point, the neighbors thought the old man was crazy and decided to leave him alone. This is an awful lot like one of those stories out of the Taoist classic Keeper of the Hidden Storehouse. So much traffic this evening. Yes. Very much like it, but not exactly. It wasn't in there. It was a different story. All right. Moving on. 2 years later, an enemy invaded the country, and all of the old man's neighbors were drafted to defend the country against the attack. Because the old man's son was lame, he did not have to join the fighting. The war was very bad, and most of the old man's neighbors were killed, but his son was spared because he had been hurt by the white horse 2 years earlier. Of course, the moral of the story we can tell. Very often when an event takes place that everybody thinks is good luck, the end results can or are disastrous. They can be. In the same way, an unlucky event can bring about happiness. Therefore, you should not lose your will to continue if an unlucky event happens, nor should you be too overjoyed or feel too self-satisfied because of a lucky event, or because something that you desire comes very easily to you. There's your moral of the story. There's the Chinese story. Pardon me as I sip and switch over here to our live and have a look. Let me see here. Diva in the Dirt. Maureen Washington is joining us tonight. Hello, Maureen. Ta-da. And of course, yeah, entrepreneurs find ways to create employment opportunities for themselves. Sometimes these, if there wasn't a business opportunity in an area that suddenly has an influx of labor, and you have the ability to create an opportunity, you have the ability to create an opportunity. Hi, wow. And ready labor pool as well, if you think of it this way, huh? Let's see. Carolyn was saying they have a matching donor matching right now for Caleb House. Wouldn't mind somebody dropping that link in the chat if you happen to have it. I don't happen to have it handy at the moment. This is interesting. Mary says, I've gotten the habit of doing offerings, and I've learned that if I can do my offer stocks, do my savings a little bit better. Interesting how that works, right? You're thinking about where you're putting your money and what you're putting your what work you're putting your money to. Whenever you think about that, you think, well, maybe I should put some away for the future as well. Huh. So, just the fact that you were thinking about where you want to employ your money had a side benefit. I was saying, condition of the house I'm buying is embarrassing. But you might, yeah, you might learn something by going through the trouble of fixing it up yourself, because you can't afford the contractors, and because of the challenges that are being thrown your way, you're going to have the opportunity to get on the job training at home repair, which may be skill that you can barter or market later on after you've done the work and figured out, maybe made your mistakes. And if you didn't, if you did a good job, you can go, okay, look at this. Guys, have a look at what I did. If you want me to do it for your place, I can do it for your place too, and I'll work cheap. And you've got the opportunity to have created a job right there. And who knows, maybe it's a job that requires extra laborers, so some of those displaced folk can find employment assisting with that sort of thing. Yeah, oldest bonus child is tall, smart, and strong. Nicknamed him Hercules. Yeah, he's working as an apprentice electrician, so he's learning how to handle the thunder. All right. Well, yeah, I think about this one too. Roy, is, yeah, that exactly that thing. What happens whenever I'm on my way and I got a flat or something happened that delayed me, and I could go, oh darn it, I got delayed. I'm stuck at this traffic light for longer than I wanted to be. It's hot out. My air conditioner doesn't work, and and I can sit here and I can think about how uncomfortable I am and how much rather I'd be moving, and how frustrating it is that I didn't time that stoplight just right or what have you. But at the same time, I don't know what in the world is going on down the road ahead of me. Down the road ahead of me, there may be somebody that for a moment was looking down at their cell phone and swerved just a little bit into the lane that I would have been in, right, at that time, or might have caused me to react in a way that could have led to an accident. I don't know. I have no idea what sort of wonderful things may happen or horrible things may not happen as a result of me not being where I thought it was going to be. All right, let me get this. Let me switch this over. Okay, we're already over there. All right. I thought we were on the broad view, and I wasn't showing the sunflowers. It's still the film is still rolling there. I just don't know. It doesn't look like there's anything happening. I'll give it a minute. There's probably a bird working in the background somewhere that we just don't see. All right. Let's see. T's asking, do I do any consulting for someone to develop some land? I haven't made a practice of consulting. And I wouldn't want to advertise my services as a consultant, simply because that's not the job that I've set myself up for. I don't have any problem coming out and walking around if I can make it out and it's not too far away from home. Vicky's wanted me to come out and walk her places. She's got a huge acreage to cover. Like, oh wow, it would be like weeks going over this place and seeing what's there. Um, um, but yeah, I don't have any problem going out and looking at places and walking around and checking stuff out, just simply as a casual consultant. Um, don't pay me anything. Just, I like looking at nature and speculating on the possibilities. So pay my gas and lunch. We'll talk. uh, Holy cow! Sorry, listen to the podcast every time there's one. I don't know where to find the link. Oh, talking about the link for Caleb House. Yeah, okay. Carolyn says she got it. Notification from Leviticus. Hello, Joe. Yeah, you're oh, you're not too bad. You're not too bad. I only shared one little story so far. I'll get to it more in a little bit. You know, pause right here at the middle, and share a poem here, accredited to a Persian philosopher by the name of Hafiz. And it's one of the things that just when I think about really what's it been, thousands of years that we've been doing agriculture, right? Trying to struggle, among other things, to keep the birds away, right? See, here's the thing. Those songbirds, the finches, have no interest in attacking my corn. They're only really interested in the bugs and the sunflowers that I interplanted. But if some of the corvids that might be interested in visiting the corn were to come down, there would be a squawking and a squabbling and a fuss made. The flocks don't commingle. So we've got a multi-species flock that's visiting the corn patch that isn't going to eat the corn, but will eat all the bugs and harvest some of the sunflower seeds as they go along, which is fine. But they're going to keep the birds that would be interested in eating the corn. I don't need scarecrows, is what I'm trying to say. I've got a different multi-species flock that substitutes for scarecrows. Anyway, so while I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, all this time we've been working so hard, and just bringing more of nature in may have been the solution that we really needed the entire time. So it reminded me of this poem from Hafiz. It says, "What is the difference between your experience?" This is the English translation. "Between your experience and that of a saint. The saint knows that the spiritual path is a sublime chess game with God, and that the beloved has just made such a fantastic move, but the saint is now continuously tripping over joy and bursting out in laughter, saying, 'I surrender.' Whereas, my dear, I'm afraid you still think you have 1,000 serious moves." And I thought that was just so funny. That we had these preconceived notions that we carried with us from long ago, really going back really thousands of years, that we've been practicing modern agriculture, following a certain cataclysm that occurred, that sort of necessitated going to annuals, at least temporarily, right? Temporarily. And if you were Atrahasis Utnapishtim, or Noah, as he's called from the Bible that most people are familiar with, same character, different cultures writing about him. So more than two witnesses confirming his existence. His concept was to start over from the horticultural garden. He stayed up there on the mountains of Ararat, built his vineyards, built his orchards, and lived that sort of a lifestyle. But we got more birds coming in. Did you guys see in the background? Maybe it'll show up here in a minute. Is that one a bunting? I didn't get to see. Is it a dark black one, or is it a different one? Oh, darn, I can't see that one. He's too far away. No, I saw. Was he red? House finch, maybe then. Okay. Anyway, so he was doing horticulture, but because it was necessary to do some annual agriculture too, because it takes a while for those trees to develop. It takes a while for the vineyards to develop. It takes a while for all these things to come in. So if you're recovering from a cataclysm, you're going to have to rely upon a certain amount of annual agriculture. So there's no getting out of it. You're going to have to. Let me see. House bench again, right? Yeah, that's the house bench. Probably the same one. That same male coming back for more. That's okay. They've got babies to feed right now. The worker is worth his hire. All right, so the kids went after the annual agriculture because it was quick, and sort of neglected to take after the old folks that said, "Hey, You got to tend the forests. You got to make sure that you've got these horticultural systems going. That's the way that everything works well for us, right? That's the way everything works well. Everything doing its purpose. The purpose of man is more in the tending and management of multiple species, both animals and plants. Uh, we kind of lost the way of doing that a while back, and we suffered on account of it. We're trying to pick it back up again. As you can see, the cornfield is growing. It's nearing the end of its growth cycle. It'll be time to harvest everything. That corn husk over here to the side. Do we see it? Yeah. Is it? Oh, that way. Trying to point. The outside is starting to dry up. It's about ready to harvest. And like I said, I would have harvested earlier today. I got a jump start. We planted about 2 weeks early, and as a result, we're about 2 weeks ahead. Anyway, as you can see, no problems with the pests, no problems with the insects. The grasshoppers are left it alone. The cornworms are being taken care of because we have a constant supply of these birds all the time throughout the day, moving around looking for pests. And incidentally, if I had pumpkins growing nearby, this is fun. Those same sunflowers attract wheel bugs. Wheel bugs are the ones that have the little spiky arch on their back and the little rostrum that they use to attack the carapaces of other bugs. Those destroy squash bugs and leaffoot bugs. So they're a natural predator for those. And they, like the squash bugs and the leaffoot bugs, are not attacked by the birds. I think it has something to do with the taste, the flavor of them. They have the squash bugs and leaffoot bugs don't have an agreeable flavor, and since the wheel bug looks so much like them, the birds will leave them alone too. So we've got a predator built in that takes care of the pest organisms, and the birds still leave that one alone. Kind of cool. So you can have that nearby your squash and have fewer problems with not only the diurnal moth, vine borer, right? Brightly colored birds looking for food. I don't know if they're going to eat him or not. They might. I have to experiment a little bit with this and see what happens. Maybe next year we'll give it a shot. See how they do with vine borers. See if the vine borer is reduced by the bird population. But in any case, fun times. All right, let's move on. You can't really see it, but this sunflower here is about 14 foot tall. I don't know if you could see the pointer. That one in the foreground that you just see the lower half of, it's 14 foot tall. It's just now starting to bloom. It's a monster. It's the second year growing it from just bird seed sunflowers. All right, scrolling down a little bit. All right. The Vic is saying, I have about 104 acres, mostly ridge and ravine. What I don't have is flat land. It's one of the interesting things about ridges and ravines. You're also in the Ozarks, which means you have a lot of rock. And that means you have the opportunity to build retaining walls, ponds, and fun stuff like that. So you can terrace that land out and grow on it. And there are a lot of things that grow just fine along ridges and up and down. Cliffside permaculture out by Pittsburgh. He's back again. This finch is probably coming up, grabbing a bite or two to eat, and then taking the seed back with him to wherever his nest is and depositing the seeds at the nest is what he's most likely doing. Anyway, cliffside permaculture does a lot of interesting stuff on those steep vertical spaces. There you go. Yeah, I mean, either swing by, pick me up, and take me out there, or you can call me for gas. As long as it's not, as long as I can get out there, walk around, and get back inside of the day, it'll be fine. I don't like to travel more than out and back for a day because I've got stuff to take care of here too, and I don't want to put it on the kids to have to take care of the animals. By scarecrows, I mean cats. Not recently. I haven't had the cats on patrol, unfortunately. Oh yeah, and I did. I figured this out by mixing my bird seed to try to weed out the more annoying birds. But we still have the corvids. The crows. There's a crow's nest that way over there in a big sycamore over there in the neighbor's yard, and we have blue jays too that come by. Lots and lots of blue jays are coming by, and oddly enough, they haven't been eating the strawberries. They've they've been behaving themselves. They've been going after the pests and saying, "Hey, how's it going?" and not being troublesome. I thought that they would be. I thought that if we had all these blue jays coming in, it was going to it was going to be a problem. Um, but I heard this also, that if you have issues with the birds eating your fruit, one of the main reasons why birds, unless they happen to be the exclusive fruit eaters, and there are some that are exclusive fruit eaters, if you have problems with the birds eating your fruit, it is likely because they don't have enough water. And so if you make sure that you constantly have lots and lots of surface water in sheltered locations that they can get to and stuff like that they can go and they can have access to water, they're less likely to eat your fruit. That doesn't mean that they won't, but that they're less likely to. And so far so good. I haven't really noticed any any losses. I'll go around and see strawberries ripening up, and I'll give that another day or two. It gets to the day when it's fully ripe. I know the birds are around, but they haven't touched it. They haven't touched the things. They've left them alone. Peaceful Penguin says, "Bless the seeking." Right. Always look for the blessings there. John says, "I'm here to play a divine chess match with you, Jason. Um, find me on Dowbums." As Shinlo. I don't have a link for that. I should get a link for that, shouldn't I? Yeah, I should. If you like Taoist stuff, this is not a religion. It is more of a practice. You'll find people of all different religious persuasions on Dao bombs, incidentally. Um, Buddhism and Taoism as philosophical practices are there. You'll also encounter the Sufis, like the Hafiz poem. Very, very, very interesting people. Um, very interesting. I had the opportunity to see one on YouTube earlier. I don't remember what his channel name was, but very, very interesting. The perspective that they have is different, of course, from a Christian perspective. Um, Allah is not Father. Allah is Creator God to them. I'm That is not who Allah is to all Muslims, but to the Sufis, Allah means the Creator God. That's who they're talking about. There's a more detailed name to it. But their perspective is, of course, of obedience, whereas the Christian perspective would be obedience to God as the Father, and you're the obedient child, the obedient son, and that's the appropriate relationship. The tendency and the fear that, of course, the Sufis would express is whenever you approach God as your father, the tendency may be that you'll be the spoiled brat son, which certainly is the case, or was whenever I was younger, and so I can very much see where they're coming from. One does not want to be the spoiled brat. One wants to be the obedient son. Never recover from the cataclysm of me spitting sesame and or sunflower seeds on the sidewalk. Okay. Oh. All right. Let me see. I had another example here of blessings in disguise to share. I've already told you about how discovering that I was half blind, eyeballs too long. If you want to have a body part that's too long, the eyeballs probably is not it. But how whenever I was younger, I thought this was a defect and a problem. And then with maturity, which is, this is the way it always works. And this is also that the particular Sufi that I was watching earlier mentioned that these things, they come with maturity, right? How long it takes to achieve this maturity, it's different for every person, right? But always you have to humble yourself and await the understanding and keep on until that understanding does come. There are some ideas and thoughts and techniques that I could think of to help accelerate arriving at understanding. But all in all, very good advice and useful. Let's proceed on. Oh, sorry. Before I do that, yeah. So, not being able to see things clearly without my glasses, and I look at other people, I don't see the defects. I just see a human shaped blob over there, right? Which is nice. So I don't see to criticize that way. Not having good vision. If I want to see what somebody wrote, I have to look closer, right? Oh, I have to look closer. And Mary says audio is better on tablet. Oh yes, that's the other thing. I needed to mention that. Let's see. So yes, hang on a second. Let me put my eyeballs back in because I can't see the mouse pointer. I really am about half blind. So I'm trying to say, okay, now once again about the pumpkins and the cornworms and squash bugs, wheelworms. Yes. Okay, so the nearsightedness, looking closer at things, it's kind of a message for me. And once I realized it's kind of a message for me, I was like, okay, well, now that I know, does that mean that I can have 20/20 vision because I don't need the lesson? And then I got to thinking about this. It's like, no, I would most likely forget the lesson if my head suddenly had 20/20 vision. So I'll keep the nearsightedness and have to wear corrective lenses if I want to see things clearly from a distance. But I already know that I got benefits from it, right? Like being able to see somebody, 1,000 yards away walking along. A person with normal sight will see a person 1,000 yards away walking along and go, there's a person walking over there, right? But I had been trained to compensate for not being able to see clearly. So I don't just see person walking over there. I see person-shaped blob walking. But because I notice things like the gait and the posture and things like that are more general in body language, and you can even tell from 1,000 yards away the blob walking, right, has gait and posture and certain body language. I can tell if I'm familiar with that person, who that person is. And I can even tell if I'm familiar with that person, what kind of mood they're in long before they got to us. And this is because I'm not able to see clearly with my eyes, so I have to use more intuition. This also equated to having a better sense of balance, better tactile senses, improved my ability to play musical instruments, and a number of other things that came about as just consequences of not having 20/20 vision. And the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, so I have these little gifts that are really just heightened, compensated senses of more intuition and things like that I've picked up to compensate for the sight. But also, it's a constant reminder to examine things more closely, which is plays on so many levels that's not even funny. So I can't complain. I was given a gift even before I knew how to walk and talk. Checkmate. I surrender. All right. Yes, and those came from birdseed. The sunflowers did. So we can use those. We can use those bird seeds, the sunflower seeds, of course, to feed birds and keep our bird population up in the winter, which we do. We plant a lot of them, so we have plenty of them, and I can keep out going out and buying more every year if I want to, and I may continue to do that just to stock the bird feeder, just to stock to the bird feeder, and then I'll replant these, and we'll have our own land-raised sunflowers, and I can put them out in the fields and other places. So we constantly have food for the birds all around. And they take care of the locusts in other locations as well. Once again, those grasshoppers emerge and they can do a lot of devastation, a lot of damage, unless, of course, we have things out there to consume. All right. All right. Pinzones, robins, rock doves, Asian doves. And there is somebody moving around outside. Who is that? Ah, possum. There's a possum on the steps. I thought I heard noise. There's a possum on the steps, guys. So if you hear scratching and scrambling, us, hi, what are you here for? He's going to take off running. Yeah, a possum on the steps. So possums are out there. They're hunting ticks, right? Hunting bugs. They can't get up here on the porch to eat the cat food. Vicky says she's not able to. Yeah, Vicky had health problems. Car crashed before you even got before she even got to her property. So she hasn't been able to even do everything that she would like to be able to do. But oh, you got salamanders in there too. That means the water is good and clean. All right, moving on. So we discovered the eyesight was not actually a problem. It was a blessing in disguise. I'm going to read here also a hymn. I know hymn from 1746 by a guy by the name of James Hervey, entitled "Since All the Downward Tracks of Time." I don't have the music for it, so it's more along the lines of a poem as well, and it's not long. It's not long, but 1746. I think it's out of public domain by now. Since all the downward tracks of time God's watchful eye surveys, oh, who so wise to choose our lot or to appoint our ways? Good when he gives, supremely good, nor less when he denies. Even crosses from his sovereign hand are blessings in disguise. Why should we doubt a father's love, so constant and so kind? To his unerring gracious will be every wish resigned. There we go. 1746 may have been the first time the term blessing in disguise was used, at least in literature that we know of. So there we go. And close this out and close that out and close that out. There we go. We're looking at this live chat. Yeah. Over here. Did I happen to share the link for Dow bombs? Come back and double checking. I can't remember if I did. Wait, is that more bird activity? Do you see some movement? I think I saw some movement. Okay. Just in case I failed to share. If you happen to like the Taoist stuff and you want more of it, or you get off on poetry and haiku, there is a wonderful haiku chain in Tao Bums, and occasionally I get in there and dabble. All right. Now, the other thing I wanted to share was one of our other friends. Hang on. Dun-dun-dun. Let me find him. Really? Let's get over here. Not friend request. There we go. Now, I just want to throw this one out here. This guy's name is Joshua Daniel Hayes. I've mentioned him before. He's starting up a ranch down there by Henrietta. He's got 8 acres. Got the shell of the house. Just recently got a little extra cash inflow into the ministry to help get him kicked off. It's around 20 grand that he's got so far. It's not going to last long, but it will get him started. So these are people to follow. That's his Facebook profile. And also, I suppose we could go and I could find Facebook, or not Facebook, but YouTube links for him as well. Let's see. He does a podcast called Soldier of God TV, which does show up on YouTube. I'll share that one as well. Just going to dump a bunch of links for you guys. People to follow. People to follow. Randall Stevens out in Greenfield. His sermons are going to be on fire. Watch for Joshua too. Joshua is going to be on fire. You're going to be hearing a lot from this guy in the future. When I mean on fire, I mean really on fire. Yeah, too many have eyes that don't see, ears that don't hear, and minds that don't understand. You know, being half blind and becoming half deaf, you could think of that as being as being problematic. Um, also, yeah, I was just reminded, as Mary had mentioned it, our recent problems. See, this video that I'm showing in the background is footage from the new camera that we got. I just bought 2 new cameras. I bought one and spent about $120 on it, and I got it, and the audio was just horrible. I put a microphone on it; it was just horrible. Would not record audio for me at all. Not with any. Pardon me, I'm picking my nose. Hope I got it in. Not with any consistency. I couldn't get good audio out of it. And so I went, okay, that was a waste of $120, right? And so I went ahead and bought another one, which is about another 120, 130 something. And we got it in, and same problem. The auxiliary microphone jack won't work at all. If I plug anything into it, it does not register that it's got a microphone jack. And then built-in microphone, sketchy. Sometimes it records, sometimes it doesn't, and half the time it says file corrupted, and it will not. It won't record any audio. So its problem with recording audio seems to be digital, electronic gremlins of some sort. So I've got 2 cameras that I can't record audio on. The old one that I was using, the jack in it that lets you plug in to download video is starting to wobble, and it's within I don't know, a use or 2 if I use it of not being able to transfer any a video anymore. And of course, that depleted my bank account, so I can't make another attempt to buy a camera, even a cheap one, because we're right about at that point. So as an alternative to doing that, I figured, well, what are we going to do? Well, I can record video without audio. I guess we'll just record video without audio, and I'll do voiceover. So here we have, as you can see in the foreground, a male house finch coming to visit the sunflowers in the middle of the cornfield, and his presence here is a deterrent to more of your major pests. By planting sunflowers and giving them habitat, a place to come, and food to eat, they will come and keep the grasshoppers at bay all through the day. And of course, the grasshoppers are diurnal as well. So whenever they get up and around and start moving, that's exactly whenever the birds come and start eating. So it works out quite well. And as it turns out, these sunflowers are ready to harvest right about the time the corn is ready to harvest as well. There you go. All right. Mary says I'm an accidental Taoist, or I just don't care. That's funny. In Dalibums, if you look in the newcomers corner, there's a post I put in under newcomers. Although I'm not a newcomer, it's just mainly I go there and I play with the haiku chain because it's fun. It's creative exercise, and you get to craft little pearls and drop them off, and it's amusing. but I'll tell you about the experience that I had going out to help out one of the neighborhood kids get his Jeep fixed up. That was the adventure that I was off on earlier this week. Uh, he got a new job working at the AutoZone over there on the other side of the river. He has to cross the bridge to get there. That's about maybe 4 or 5 miles off over yonder, so not too far. Not too far. He's a young man. Doesn't have a college education, so he's having to working. This is not the highest paying job, of course, in the world, but also it's a job that's giving him some experience in the things that he wants to be knowledgeable in the future. So it's an opportunity for him to get to see what kind of things people have to buy for replacement parts on common vehicles, because that may come in handy for his appraisement skills later on in a future career. I suspect he's going to be. I suspect he may actually be acquiring a lot of wealth over the course of his lifetime if he sticks at it and learns from the lessons. Anyway, he had gotten off work. His first day of work over there, and had gone over to the gas station to fill up his tank with gas. He had just filled up. No, sorry, I'm a liar. He'd gone to work, not to fill up gas. What am I saying? He hadn't gone over to fill up his tank with gas. His tire was starting to go flat. Sorry. And he'd gone over there to refill it. Forgot the reason why he'd gone over there. Oh, it was already going flat. He shredded the tire on the way over there. It didn't have enough air at all to get across. So the tire was wrecked. And it was late at night. And now he's stranded with a tire that's shot. And he's got the donut and he has a tire wrench. So he goes and he starts to take it off to change it out. And then he discovers he can't get the lug nuts broken free. Just can't get them. And of course it's late at night and he's all the way on the other side of the Arkansas River Bridge, miles away from home, stranded. And somebody comes along, sees that he's in that situation, offers to give him a ride home. And they give him a ride home. And whenever they drop him off, they hand him $100. Well, there's more to the story than that. I should probably tell you how the story starts. Properly speaking, the story starts earlier that day. Earlier that day, I guess I could have the volume turned on this clip, but it doesn't really matter. Earlier that day, Kimber, adopted daughter, had wanted to make a special dinner for her fiance, Brendan, guy who's learning to be an electrician right now. The Taco Bell Cruncherito, right? The Taco Bell Cruncherito, just unfortunately, or maybe it's Cheeserito. It's not on the menu anymore. So she was like, but he really loved them, and they don't have them on the menu anymore. So he said, we're gonna make that. She said, well, I want to make that for him. I said, fine, let's go. She's like, but I don't have any money. I was like, let's go. I'll eat one. So we went to go get the materials necessary to make the Cheeserito from scratch, even though Taco Bell doesn't produce them. So all the we had refried beans already. We got the tortillas and we got the nacho cheese, and it has to be the canned nacho cheese. It can't be homemade nacho cheese sauce that you would make with Velveeta chilies or anything like that. No, it must be the stuff out of the can. and the other things, I had to get the Taco Bell seasoning, so it'll be seasoned just right. And we got all that stuff together. And there are a few things I wanted to. So we got all that stuff. And I said, hey, I'm not sure if I really have enough money, on the credit card, because it's been a rough week, and Mary's having to pay off the card. She'd forgotten and had gotten a warning. It's like, oh no, we're at the limit. It's like, okay, so I want to go easy on the card. So can I just give you a little bit of cash? Have like part of it cash and then do the rest on the card? I said, sure, we can do that. So I gave him $100 cash and then charged the rest of the card. And then he handed me the receipt. Along with the receipt, he handed me back the same $100 that I'd given him. And for a moment there, I looked at, he was oblivious to the fact that he had just done it, right? He had wrapped the receipt around the $100 and handed it to me. I'm holding the receipt in my hand. The $100 is hidden from view. He can't see it. I could very easily just drop my hand to my side, put it in my pocket, walk away. And he had not even noticed. But I'm looking at this like, really? Seriously? You probably want to put this in your drawer, sir. And I give him the $100, and he was like, oh, like he completely totally space off. And of course, honest mistake. You aren't thinking about this. It's half in cash, half on card, and it's a little bit unusual. Errors happen, right? But so easy for a situation like that to be taken advantage of. And the lady who's behind me is just smiling from ear to ear. She got this big old grin on her face. It's like, oh, restored my faith in humanity. Ah. So we paid full price for the groceries, just like we intended to, and left, went home, made the cheese ribs. But later on that night, of course, Azrael has his incident. And I've been trying to work with Azrael a little bit on seeing the blessings and altering his perception of that. Getting him ready to become a young man, husband, and father, essentially, because like so many people out there, no good male role models in the life. Well, he said he had a few that he learned some valuable lessons from, but yeah, generally speaking, they weren't wholly good. They're not so great, but he picked the good lessons from each one of about 3 of them, and he picked good lessons so far. So he does know how to pick his role models, which is good. But just getting that hit, having spent all of his money, getting his Jeep fixed up, just getting the job, and then getting stranded like that, not being able to fix the tire, all of that piling up. And then here's a stranger, gives him a ride home, hands him $100. And now I'm kind of giggling because I'm like, $100 is going to get around. It's not done yet either. I know it's not. So we go out and we go to get his truck taken care of. We get there. I get on it with the wrench, and I'm about ready to break this tire tool, trying to get these lug nuts on. I can't get them to budge. Not a touch. Not a touch. So while that's going on, he's giving it another shot with the wrench. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm going to give him the chance to try his best anyway, even though I'm pretty sure it's not gonna go. So I walk. We're at a Quick Trip, a convenience store. I walk around behind this place where they have, it's landscape. They've pruned the lawn, nice pretty lawn, pretty grass. The yard work crew is just finishing up, as a matter of fact, while we're there. So I walk across this area of grass where probably whenever people are on road trips and they stop off the highway, because this is off the highway, their children will run around and play, and they'll let their dogs, have the opportunity to walk. So watch your step out there. But there's an area at the back that overlooks a steep drop off at about maybe 30 or 40 feet. And there's a railing, a fence with a rail going around all the way around the back, so people don't accidentally, run blind off the edge of the cliff and fall, because that would be a bad day. Drunks wouldn't accidentally stumble over it. But as I'm walking along and I'm looking over into this ravine, and there's a highway running this way. The convenience store is here, so highway's this way, convenience stores here, and there's the fence, and then there's a little access road that comes up alongside it, right there. So there's this little tiny like triangular pocket of woods down there at the bottom, and it's just like steep angles. Nothing was going to be built there, right? And there's this little woodland spot, and a creek's running through it. I looked down there, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a little pocket woods, and I wanted to go check it out, because you never know. You never know what you're going to find down there. Is it going to be a homeless encampment? Am I going to encounter junkies? Who knows? But I figure, I found this railing, and I went, oh, sorry, I neglected to mention, this railing is loose. Whenever I'm going around, I'm looking at this, and I find this railing, and it's loose. And it's not loose as in wiggle. It's loose as in one whole side has come free. So it's like this. And whenever I touch it, I realize that, oh, shoot, if I had put my weight on this, it would have gone. And I would have gone all the way down into that ravine. And it's, like I said, around 30 or 40 feet. And there's a little tiny around 40 foot down, 30, 35, maybe 40 foot at that point. It's 50 all the way down, and you probably would have hit and tumbled a little bit if you went over the side. I was like, oh my gosh, a kid running can run into this, a drunk stopping by the convenience store late at night to get a 40, stagger, who knows, bad accident can happen here. So I went in and said, okay, I need to talk to every GM and make sure that we have a note written so they have an actual physical record that they can look at to remind them, hey, this needs to be addressed because you got a safety hazard out there that we're one bad night away from that this being a news story. So they said, yeah, I think they could provide information. Like, seriously, it's not just a little loose. It's gonna go. Somebody puts their weight on it, it's going. After I told them that's whenever I went down. I went to go check out this little ravine. Oh, no, that's not when I went to go check out the ravine. Don't let me lie to you. I came back out and I said, okay, I told him about that, and Ozzy's he's trying to get the lug nuts. They're not coming loose. They're just not coming loose. I was like, okay, we've tried with the hammer and they're not coming loose. So there's the auto store or the tire shop, Cecil and Sons. That's the one I usually go to, is on the other side of the river. It turns out they have a second location on the side that the car broke down. It's only maybe 100 yards away, across the intersection and on the other side. So I said, okay, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to talk to them. I have an account with these people. Maybe I can talk them into, coming over with the impact wrench or something and helping us out here. Sure enough, yeah, the guy said, yeah, I'll bring the impact wrench over. They were slow. And he comes over with the cordless impact wrench and the tools necessary to get this thing off. Cannot get this nut off at all. The lug nut is not moving, even with the cordless impact. And I was like, oh, what are we going to do? I was like, well, we're just going to have to. We'll head over there. We'll call the tow truck. So he calls the tow truck, and we have to wait. That's whenever I go down into the ravine and check it out. So I go down while we're waiting for the tow truck to arrive. I go down there and I go down there, and I'm surprised to discover that this little creek running through the ravine is still got water in it, and we've been in the middle of a drought, so there's still water running through it. It's like, oh, that's cool. And I come down and look. There's a little plunge pool, so it comes down. There's concrete that they've laid out for drainage and stuff. So it's just water runoff is coming from wherever it's coming from. It's coming down there. I have no idea where this water is coming from ultimately, but it goes down and it goes across a bed of moss that's growing on this concrete drainage channel. It's in the shade, and it's got just the constant steady flow, just a little bit of water, and so it's keeping this moss growing. The moss is alive, and it's growing. It's just going across this moss, constantly going across this moss, and then it goes down a little short plunge into a small plunge, maybe a foot or two, into a little waterfall with a plunge pool. So there's that, and I look down there and I could see little dragonfly nymphs down there in the plunge pool. And the water's not disturbed a lot, just a little bit, just enough that you don't have mosquito larvae. And so I say this is actually kind of a nice little place. It's cool, it's quiet, and it very, very hot day. It's been very, very hot days the last few, and this day was no exception a couple of days ago. So I said, we got to wait for the tow truck anyway. They'll holler down at me or something if they arrive while I'm sitting here just enjoying this little nature scene. So I sat down and decided I was just going to sit here and watch and see what little critters showed up in this little ecosystem, because I'd seen the dragonfly nymphs, so I know that the water's clean. Maybe there's fish, maybe there's frogs. Are there going to be snakes? What am I going to see? I don't know what I'm going to see. So I just sat down to wait. And after I waiting a little bit, I noticed a couple of little crawfish. They're not big. They're maybe about 2.5, 3 inches big, 3 inches long. Come out from under the rocks. They'd scuttled under the rocks whenever I had approached. Right, they'd run away, and because of the glare on the surface of the water from the sun, it was coming into a little bit of an angle, so there was a little bit of glare. But dappled shade, it was still cool. I hadn't seen them until I was able to get up, on it, sit down and look from an angle that there wasn't glare. And so I'm looking down and I see these crawfish coming out. I watch them. Okay, so we got crawfish down there, all the dragonfly nests. But once again, I didn't see any fish. I didn't see any fish, and I didn't see any snakes, and I didn't see any frogs. I saw water boatmen, those little insects that kind of skate across the surface. Those were on the surface of the water. Loads and loads of dragonfly nets. So many dragonfly nets. It's like, wow, this is like a breeding ground for dragonflies. And there were a few of the blue damselflies that were flitting around. They would land on the forbs, the tall plants overlooking this little plunge pool. And of course, they're out there. They're hunting for insects as well. They're all part of this little ecosystem. But no fish, no snakes, no frogs. And I guess because there's no fish, that's the reason why the dragonfly nymphs were able to prosper so well. Or perhaps the dragonfly nymphs are the reason why there's no fish. If there were small fish that entered into that area, some of the dragonfly nymphs are strong enough predators. They can take on a small fish and prey on a fish too, a small fish. So maybe this is one of the reasons. But of course, there's no snakes there and no frogs. And I was a little bit, I wouldn't say upset, but I wanted to see frogs down there, but I didn't see any frogs. I didn't see any turtles either. And I was thinking, probably whenever it gets dark out, when it starts getting dark out, there's going to be lots of fireflies here, and I'll bet there's tree frogs. I'm just not hearing them right now because it's a really hot day. And you don't hear those so much except whenever you've got rain coming or in the evenings and stuff like that. So there's probably tree frogs hanging out. And I'm just not seeing them, but I don't see them right now. Anyway, I got up and I left the place. And as I was going up and leaving, and I took pictures and I have them on Dalbums as Shinlong is my screen name there. As I climbed back up, I didn't take the same route down. So I decided I was going to climb up the grassy hillside and pick up some of the trash on the way out, because this is, steep incline, picks up trash from everywhere, especially the highway, and of course from the convenience store and stuff like that. So I'm just picking up a little bit, go visit a nature spot, try to pack out more than I packed in if possible. Trash, that is. And as I got to the top, I saw one more piece of trash there, and I was like, oh, what is that? It looks like one of those beadwork keychain fobs. You see them right at the mom pop shops or flea markets or stuff like that. They're just little keychains that somebody did a little beadwork together, plastic beads, really simple. These were like white and purple, which is oddly enough is the same color as that corn over there. That we're getting ready to harvest. White, purple, speckled white, purple. Well, that's the color of the bees, and I thought that was kind of cool that they're the same color as the corn that I'm growing, right? So I reached down and pick it up. I can't just leave this plastic laying out here. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up too. So I pick it up, and then I realize there's more to it. It's the key fob. Whenever I take it and I unfold it, it's in two parts. There's the part that has the little barrel connector that you put the keys on, and apparently the barrel has broken, and it's a broken key fob. So that's probably why they threw it away. Whoever threw it away, because it doesn't work to hold your keys in. But the beadwork, whenever I unfolded it and had a look at it, it's a little frog. It was a beadwork frog. So I found the frog after all. But the other part of it was a little Taoist I Ching style, it has the little hash marks on the outside, but the yin yang with the two sides, which were there, a little medallion, and on the reverse side of it, it shows some man. I don't know if he's a peasant or if he's an emperor. Who knows? Maybe he is a wise man, but he's got a dragon at his feet. He's holding up a rod like he's using it to tame the dragon. So he's a dragon tamer on the one side of the yin yang sign. It's like, wow, that's little cool little find there after stopping by to do something very Taoist while we're waiting for the tow truck to arrive. And of course, shortly after that, the tow truck shows up and they take the Jeep over to the tire shop. we're anticipating probably about $100 to pay for the tow truck. And I'm like, well, I guess that's the reason why you got $100. It's going to cover the cost of the tow truck. Huzzah. Right. But no, as it turns out, the tow truck driver says, no charge, drops the car off, drops the Jeep. Gets you from point A to point B, though, doesn't it, buddy? All right. So he drops the Jeep off at the tire shop, no charge. So the $100 is still working, right? The $100 is still working. Story's not over. Story's not over, guys. Story's not over. All right, here we go. You're gonna love this. So we tell them what we want done. We're gonna go ahead and get 2 tires. I'm gonna be paid for it out of my account because we've got work to do, and Ozzy's going to help out with the work. So instead of paying him cash, we'll just pay him in tires, get him fresh new rubber. So go ahead and get 2 tires, do the rotation, make sure everything's balanced, and then like later on, whenever he's got more cash for it. Oh, June bug. We got June bug showing up now. Later on, when he's got more cash for it, he can come back. He can get the other 2 tires, and then he can open up his own account. All that good stuff. But for right now, they're gonna charge it to my account and put the tires on. So he gets to work. He gets started out, and he comes back, and the worker in the shop comes back and goes, guys, I got the pneumatic powered impact wrench on this thing. We're going to have to use the cutting torch to get this off. They're going to have to cut it off, which means they're going to have to replace the studs. So we're well, great. We're into work, and he gets the thing off and goes, whoever put this thing on, whoever put this tire on, they had torqued this down so much that the lug nut had started to just bury itself into the rims, which were kind of a softer cast aluminum. They weren't steel, and they had just messed the rim up. And having to melt off, having to cut off the lug nut wasn't helping either. So we've got a wrecked rim. So now we have to get a replacement for the rim, and it's close to it's close to 5 o'clock on Friday. Everything's closed down, and so no transportation. Oh, great! And we're gonna have to find a rim from somewhere. So I said, all right, yeah, we'll just pick it up. First thing tomorrow, we go. First thing the next day, Saturday, we go out looking for rims, and I'm taking Ozzy around looking for rims, salvage yards. We found a salvage yard. Says, yeah, we've got one. We get out there, blazing hot, and it's a pull apart. So we have to go and get the thing off. Same problem, exact same problem. Whoever had put this on, same make and model of Jeep 2001 Cherokee. Whoever put this on, are you getting it, sir? You okay? Huh? All right. Cat's investigating the screen over there. Whoever put this on had just way over torqued this lug nut, damaged the rim. It's got it stuck in there, and now it's kind of rusted and fused in. It's not going anywhere. We can't get it to break loose. We talked to people at the pull apart into getting out the cordless impact, and one of the guys comes over, no English, but a little bit of Spanish. He gets in there, crack. This lug nut split in half, not lengthwise, but around, split in half. Came off. There's no way to get this thing off now. It's going to take a blowtorch to get it off too. So, and it was the only tire that they had that would fit the Jeep Cherokee. Only one they had. The only one that they had. And we couldn't get it off. We'd spent, I don't know how much time there. But, okay. So now it's like, I guess we go to Facebook Marketplace. And there was a guy there, lives in Claremore, bit of a drive, but he said he's got 5 rims for a Jeep, $100. So we drive out to Claremore, hand them $100, get 5. They're not new, but they're in perfect condition. Rims for a 2001 Jeep Cherokee. Only these ones are steel, not cast aluminum, and they're all in good shape. So we get back. It's too late by this time to drop to do the work. But we go ahead and put the rims all in the Jeep, and the one that we need to replace the tire, we just put it there next to the tire and go, okay, you got brand new lug nuts. We bought those. He works at AutoZone, so we bought them at AutoZone because employee discount. He's got his new rims. Now all we got to do is do the rest of the work. And the initial bill was close to $800, all the labor and everything else. It was just a huge bill. It was like, oh no. But after we got everything together, we went, okay, let's recalculate. And the guy who did the labor said, I'm not going to count the labor for getting those studs out because it wrecked the rim and we weren't able to fix it anyway. I don't mind. And so he didn't charge for that. And the entire bill was about $600. So that's 20, 30 hours worth of labor at $20 an hour, which I pay him for labor whenever he comes by to do work. I'm sure we can find ways to keep him employed. But now he's got his Jeep set up with fresh new tires, new rims, and he's going to be able to get back and forth to the job that he's got. He won't be losing his job. He's getting in a position where he'll be able to get himself and his fiance out of the camper that they're living in into a place that's a bit more suitable for a young couple. And of course, she's making progress also in her job. She'll be becoming a manager pretty soon, I imagine. I'm wondering if that possum's out there in the darkness lurking. I keep on hearing noises out there. So she's going to be becoming a manager at her place. So just blessings all around for them. It's great. We've got a young generation that hopefully will be coming up with the right mindset. They do require guidance, of course, but that's what us old folks are around for. trying to be, I guess, surrogates for the old folks that we never had. There we go. There you go. Count the day wasted. You didn't learn something. Carolyn says, send those cameras back and get your money back. Yeah, probably should. And yeah, that's the problem. Is Amazon Electronics. It's sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Is that still rolling? Is that video still going in the background or? Oh, it's not. It's not. There you go. That video stopped. So it stopped because we hit an hour. It's only about an hour's worth. Vicky is asking, is it too late to plant sunflowers? No, it is not too late to plant sunflowers. As a matter of fact, we will be planting sunflowers again with our second planting of corn. So we're going to harvest some of the sunflowers and then we're going to replant. We'll replant corn and sunflowers. Let me scroll through here. Okay. Yeah, do not hammer your lug nuts, people. Don't hammer the lug nuts. Sugars. Eek. I found that the chlorhexidrine spray that you get from the tack and harness shop is handy. They use it to spray down horses whenever you get fly bites, but it helps with the itch and burn of chiggers as well. Apparently, it's bacteria in the wounds that gives us that itchy sensation. So yeah, I'm restarting the video. Up there is a house finch, male house finch, visiting our sunflowers, feeding himself. So I saw 3 birds in the one on your thumbnail this morning, but one had a vibrant orange beak. The vibrant orange beak is most likely going to be from a cardinal. We have cardinals. And if it was a red bird with orange beak, then it was a male cardinal. And if it was more or less a brown bird with orange beak, then it was a female cardinal. Yeah. Yeah, and apparently we just have little breeding pools making our dragonflies. Well, that's good. Yeah, see, there's a good example of things that are blessings, and you think, oh no, it's a hurricane. Yeah, but it's replenishing reservoirs and topping off the water. And in some cases, yeah, there may be trees that need to be knocked down, buildings that weren't safe, so on and so forth. But fans for the porch, hook them up. Okay, well, oh no, nobody hook them up. Nobody is hooked. Pinko with nopales. You get an older pad, cut, hollow it out, fill it with tender, diced, prickly pear, chopped tomato, and onions. Let's see. That one is a house finch. Robins are a different bird. Robins are a bit bigger. Robins are also obligate insectivores. Quick delete everything so he thinks he's talking to himself. Thanks, Mary. And then, yeah, bluebirds have rosy breast feathers and cream feathers on the belly, but bluebirds we don't see very often here. They're a tree nesting thrush. Most thrushes are ground nesters. And I've got a Betty Kitty walking across the computer. It's kind of be, hello, ma'am. Hi. Would you like to say hello to the good people? Hello, good people. Hop on down. All right. Let me see here. Yeah. Well, they're pretty red birds. People catch them and try to put them in cages, right? All righty. Put sunflower seeds in the lens of your camera next time. Maybe. Oh yeah. Or maybe yeah. I could put them off place close to where the camera is set up. And they just come land. Maybe put up a little platform just right down there. They can land and eat the seeds. Might be able to see more of them. Anyway, well, there you go. That's the way they work. They come in and they're gonna come in and they're gonna eat a few seeds and they're gonna scare off all the bugs for me. They're gonna eat a few bugs too. Joe's saying house finches think the sunflowers are trees, or they're looking for bugs. Both. They're good. They are good perching locations, and of course the birds want to have the places to perch. But also that they're going to come and eat sunflowers too. Sunflower seeds. Yeah, that's an idea. I could set up the lane cameras and cover them with sunflower seeds. I don't know how I'm going to go about editing through that video though. There's just, if I let them run, there's just hours and hours, or there can be hours of footage on a battery to go through. You get a full charge and let it run, and that's just, it's mind numbing sitting there looking at it. Because if you try to go through it fast, you'll miss things, and if you go through it slow, because it's so mind-numbing. You miss things. Just sitting there watching hours and hours of footage. So I just cut this one down to 1 hour. 3 hours. I cut it down to one. Just picked out the spots where you had more bird activity. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Remember, out there, seek the blessings out. They are there. They're not always obvious. Most of the time, whenever you see something that looks like a challenge or a test or a trial, there is an opportunity for a blessing in it somewhere. Look for it. And if you don't see it right away, then have some patience and wait. And perhaps in time you will get to see what the blessing was. But always remember to seek them out. Keep that positive mental attitude. And remember to get out there and get growing. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great evening.